The basket weaving that my great-grandmother and my grandmother had came from Sierra Leone.
It started with my great-grandmother, passed down to my grandmother, my mom, me. This is something that I want to pass down to my kids, my grandkids.
This has been a generation over 200 years.
When I first started weaving baskets, I was about 8 years old. I was going to the city market in Halifax on Market Street with my mom and my grandmother. And I remember my grandmother took a basket and she just started it and she passed it to me to finish. I didn't know what I was doing, and I've been making baskets ever since. Where's the maple?
It's called red maple. I got to find a tree that I think that the branches that I take off is going to be right and good for to make baskets. And then I just cut it and take it to Clara, and she strips it down from there. That's the only maple you can use for the baskets that my mother made, that her mother made, that my sister Clara is making now.
You just stick to getting the wood, right?
My role was passed down to me from my father, who used to gather wood for my mother. I hope that someone would say, yes, Peter, I'll go get some for you someday, somebody in the family.
After my mom passed away, I sort of took over and made a promise to her that I would continue as long as I could.
They're beautiful, and they go from Nova Scotia all around the world. I've seen the baskets in different museums.
So this exhibit chronicles Edith Clayton, was a well-known African Nova Scotia basket maker. It speaks to the perseverance of the African Nova Scotia community. I think that spirit of wanting to persevere, of wanting to keep identity and heritage that might have been lost through the ills of slavery, through the ills of marginalization.
I've traveled with my mom to do demonstrations at the schools to see, some of the young kids that haven't seen the basket, the look on their face when they pick a basket up and want to weave, learn. I'm like, wow, look at this.
I find my hands are getting very weak, and they're not as strong as they used to be. So when I'm finished a basket, I make sure I wash my hands in hot water, and that way I can get the feeling back in my hands again.
You're doing a good job with the splits, Mama.
Thank you.
It really is one of those things that you really need to focus and, take the time to do it. So it's a lot of pressure.
I'm not worried, but I'm hoping that it will continue on.
Oasis likes to be in the basket room with Nanny when she's at the house. If Nanny's making baskets, she'll be in there sitting on the stool. She'll play with whatever sticks are there and talking to her. It reminds me of when I was her age, doing the same thing with my grandmother. There you go. Yay!
Before I know, she would have her little chair and she'd be sitting down and picking up some of the sticks. And I asked her a few times, what are you doing? She said, I'm making a basket. And she's only 3 years old right now. So I hope that one day it will instill in her. There's times that I have baskets that's unfinished, and I look around and I say, well, I don't feel up to it today. But before I know it, I'm back in the basket room and I'm weaving, and it's a good feeling.
Hearing my mom and seeing her work so hard at the baskets, there's a love for it that I have watching her.
Right now I begin to get more of the feeling of what my grandmother and my mother went through, just trying to keep it going.
This makes me want to hang on tighter to this, because if my children can carry it on and their children, we can get this into 400 years.